Hi YouTubers, yes I'm back. Not really gone anywhere, it's just been a bit busy as usual. But I noticed this week in the news we had the Archbishop of Canterbury again, that great Anglican church leader, who's been talking once again, and he's criticised the government this time, which is quite fun because I do that a lot. But saying ministers treat religious people as oddities. Oddities. So I've done a tubey thing before on Dr. Rowan Williams, and he of course is number 3 in command. Number 1 being of course the almighty sort of toilet dweller amongst other places. Secondly, of course, the Queen, who sort of adopted the position from Henry VIII, who decided to kill off, or at least divorce one of his wives, and the only way he could do that is become in charge of his own church. So hence the Church of England, really. And then the Anglican Church, which apparently there's about 700 million people who are in the Anglican Church, although I think they might include me in that because I'm written down in some census form as being a Church of England type, which of course I no longer am and never really was, but I got sort of put in that bracket because I was christened, something which I had absolutely no saying in, really. So anyway, that's a bit of a history there. And of course, number 3 in command is our friend or acquaintance, Dr. Rowan Williams, the Archbishop of Canterbury. Now let's have a quick look at this. He said senior figures in the Labour administration behaved as if churchgoers were eccentric and religion was a problem. Right. Okay. I'm not gonna say anything about that. Just hang on. Speaking to the Daily Telegraph, it's quite a big sort of thing. That's the one that unveiled all the ministers, of course, and everything as being a little bit corrupt in Britain. And he said ministers were wrong to think that faiths were no longer relevant in modern Britain. Well, of course they're not. There's so many blooming of them. However, more than relevant. I think we know they're so relevant. That's why there's so many atheists speaking out now. Now the trouble, he says, the trouble with a lot of government initiatives about faith is they assume it is a problem. It is eccentricity. It is practiced by oddities, foreigners and minorities. Now actually it is practiced by foreigners and minorities, and it is a little odd. So that's 3 things I can really sort of say, well, yes. So eccentricity, well of course it is a little eccentric in many ways. All religions seem to me to be a little eccentric, but of course I'm an atheist. But turning sticks into snakes, for instance, that's a little eccentric. Talking ants, for instance, in the Quran, little eccentric to me. Believing that, say, a god had his head chopped off and then it was replaced with the next creature to pass, as in the sort of elephant god in Hinduism, for instance. That to me is believing it. I mean, the story's fine. I mean, I've read naughty books, and when I was younger, they were fine. But believing it, you know, believing big ears really exists, you know, I'm not actually going to say that's not a little eccentric. But making it into a faith of course being something which is not necessarily true, you have to have faith to believe it because there's no evidence. Again, I think that is perhaps a little eccentric. But anyway, he's having a go at the government for it. Now the government, this is the same government that's really been saying to people, we want faith schools because faith schools are a good thing. We can separate all the faiths out so they can hate each other. Whereas I think keeping secularism, things like schools and the state separate from religion, is a good idea. But no, the Church of England does in fact in the House of Lords have many representatives, and they actually take a part in making British law. So I think he's being a little bit sort of if I had my way, I would keep him separate, and all the bishops, etc., from British law, and then say, carry on, do your faith bit, and I've got no reason to actually be annoyed at you. But when you bring your crap into law, into my house, then I've got reason to speak out. So here we go. Anyway, dear old Dr. Williams, he says, he also dismissed Pope Benedict's invitation for disaffected Anglicans to cross over to Rome as theologically rather eccentric. That's a good one. This man, as I've said before, everybody seems to come up with, oh, Dr. Owen Williams, he's a clever man. Why? Because people keep saying he's a clever man. I've never actually seen any reason to say he's a clever man. Oh, very clever, you know. You hear it in most of the reports we've ever got. Dr. Williams is a man of great intelligence. Where? I've never seen it. Anyway, let's forget Dr. Williams, Archbishop of Canterbury, because he is irritating, to be honest. As most are, but anyway, he's particularly irritates me. And I want to go on to this other thing. Aggressive and fundamental atheists. Okay, so you're saying, oh yeah, he's one of them. But years ago, my mother, she'd never actually admit that she was an atheist. I think she is, or was, or both. But I would say probably if you're going to put into a category, it'd probably be in that sort of large percentage of agnostics that we have in Britain. People that really don't want to talk about it. They don't really believe, but they don't want to talk about it because they don't want to upset that sort of 40% that do believe. That's a figure that was pulled out of the air by somebody recently on a religious survey. Anyway, years ago, when I was a child, we used to get Jehovah's Witnesses call at the door, as I still do, in fact. But she would say, they'd say, can I talk to you about God? And she would say, no, piss off, and slam the door in their face. And to be honest, I used to think that was quite amusing. But here was a woman who was not aggressive against religious people in any real way. Oh, that's so much better. What have I been drinking? Well, it's Bailey's, yes. Don't ask, honestly. I've run out of other drinks. Didn't help much. Shall I cut this bit? No, probably not, where was I? My mother telling Jehovah's Witnesses to piss off. Now, I'm an atheist, full-blown atheist, as you probably noticed. I may have mentioned it. But I never tell them to piss off. I actually invite them in. I'm one of those people who say, come on in, let's have a cup of tea, we'll have a chat. Look, I've even got my copy of Watchtower, the last one I got. And what I've noticed is the religious types, they used to come up and say, oh, Darwin, because my dog Darwin used to run out and around their feet, and he used to go, come on Darwin, come on in. And they used to go, Darwin, your dog is called Darwin. And I went, yes, after Charles Darwin, the great man who invented. They go, oh yes. Do you realise that Darwin, repented on his deathbed? And they used to give me all this bit, and I go, no, he didn't. No, that was the story made up by Lady Hope, and I went on with that bit, and they go, oh, was he? And they used to start explaining, evolution to them, as I still do even today. But I found now they've taken a totally different track with me. They now turn up, and they say, interesting, well, yeah, but I'm not sure about this Genesis thing, and they go, oh, no, Genesis, no, we believe in evolution, it's all part of our religion now. Really? Is it? I thought, well, that's quite disappointing, really. I was quite enjoying that. This was the last one anyway. I'm sure they're not all Jehovah's Witnesses are still like this. And so then they gave me a Watchtower and a supplement to it, and in the supplement I opened it up and there was this sort of really nice flower thing, and it was saying, how could anybody believe this was product of evolution? God must have created it. I went, oh, give up, So even the people on the door aren't saying the same thing as they are in various watchtowers. That's beside the point. Going back to aggressive and fundamental atheism, that'll be another video, I think, because I've run out of time and waffled far too much. But I hope you enjoyed it anyway. Yeah, peace for now. I'll try and do this again when it's not so late and I haven't drunk quite so much Baileys. I never actually knew you could be in the slightest bit tipsy on this rubbish. Ooh. Still, what's next? The absinthe, I think. I really must buy some new booze. Take care. Bye bye.